No, most of the people who sent letters in, they either didn't want to, they're either here and didn't want to get a microphone, or they couldn't attend tonight, but they wanted their letters read in. This one is from Desiree Ashworth and Matt Ashworth. And forgive me, there's some handwriting, and I have to try and interpolate some handwriting. To whom it may concern, we were at the Swiss Days Parade and had a man approach us on signing the petition. This petition, we now do not want to be part of that petition and want our signature to be removed. I think it just expresses a concern about how the petition was handled then. To whom it may concern, I signed the petition, Swiss Days. The man said it was a huge increase in property taxes. I wouldn't have signed it if I knew all the details. I support the fire department and tax increases. The man with Brooks and Kevin Brooks. I read the last one, I didn't know. To whom it may concern, my name is Blaine Brown. I have been a resident of Wasatch County for 20 years. I currently live at his address. A few months ago, I was approached by two individuals at the post office asking me to sign a petition. I politely declined at first when in the post office. Upon returning to my vehicle, they followed me up in the car and continued to harass me about signing the petitions. I got in my car, but they stood beside the window of my car, motioning for me to roll down the window and talk to them. They were so persistent, I rolled down my window and listened. They asked me something to the effect, do you want taxes to go up 90%? I said, of course not. They said, well, then we're on the same page, and if we don't get enough signatures, all your taxes are going up 90%. I then signed and left. Several weeks later, I found out that I was totally misinformed. They misrepresented completely the tax implications of their own petition. I know I should have been more careful with what I signed, but what I signed was not what was represented. Had I known that only the fire department portion of the taxes was going up, I would have never signed it. We support the proposed increase to improve the fire department 100%. We need it desperately. To whom it may concern, this letter is about the unfortunate incident of the circulating petition against the Wasatch County Fire District. I did sign the petition some months ago at the post office. I was in a hurry and must admit that all I heard was my taxes going up 80%. I feel I was misinformed regarding the nature of the petition and do not support the fire district. Thank you, Janelle Cook. All of these have essentially the same narrative. And I'll just read to rethink the record. I won't read everyone. But, and Alyssa Slack has the same comment. Jamie Wright, Midway, has the same comment. Nancy Nedeker, the same. Cody Clyde and Patty Clyde, and Melody Fellows. So those I will make part of the official record. Those are people who have had the exact same experience. So we do know there is support there, and I realize there are differences of opinion. We want to respect everybody's opinion based on that, but there are people who do want their support read into the record. So appreciate that. I'm going to close the public comment period now of our hearing for the truth and taxation hearing. I think some of the questions that have been raised will probably be answered, hopefully, and if not, we'll get to those questions in the public comment period of the budget. To me, it's kind of counterintuitive. We have to, by law, talk about the tax increase before we can open the public hearing for the budget. That has to be in that order. We found that out. We actually did that in the other order, and that's one of the reasons it didn't go through. The tax commission wouldn't approve of the increase we proposed last year, which then would have gone to the referendum with the signature. But because we had actually done that in the other order, we'd actually had the budget hearing first, and then the truth and taxation hearing. The Utah State Tax Commission would not approve the increase. So that's the reason they have to be in that order, because the tax commission says so. We will now talk about the budget. So I want to open up the public hearing for the budget. And so the same thing, if you feel so inclined, and some of your comments obviously still apply, and we'll come back to those here. But if you feel so inclined, please come up to the mic. This is specifically to the budget we've presented. And so if you feel so inclined, come up to the mic. Again, state your name, and we will listen to your comments. And at the end, we'll close the public comment period, and we will then have the opportunity to respond to your comments. So, if anyone wants to speak to that.
Yeah, because I go through this process of thanking you here with me. I guess being first meeting I've ever attended, I guess I'm really disappointed to hear that there are two sides, and people applaud and clap and so forth. Because collaboratively, we need to work together as a community, and we're all trying to do the same thing. The firefighters, I respect immensely. They do a wonderful service for our community, and I hate to see when there's, people applauding on one side, because we all should work together to try to provide the best quality that we can have. So, I guess I wish back in the days of the 60s, we all held hands and could get along and understand that we are trying to do the same thing. But I did have specific questions related to the budget. In listening to both sides, I think it comes down to what I see in so many instances, 3 words: lack of communication. And I think if the information is presented, and you did answer my questions, and I'm going to support the tax increase because I got the answers to my question. A lot of people may not get their answers, but I think it comes down to lack of communication. And the more you can provide to the public in that regard, in a budget presentation, I think we'll all be better off and we'll all be better served in that reference. And I'm not making any discouraging remarks that the budget presentation wasn't good or appropriate, but numbers just don't happen. You've got to have some narrative and some data that people can.
Well, I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. We're going to give you some of that narrative right now, so
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. And I guess that's my comment is that I did ask specific questions related to the budget. I don't want to micromanage the budget. I don't think we have to do line by line item, but I think there are some major questions that should be asked. For example, fire equipment. I know many fire departments now, and these guys can probably verify that, are going to quick vehicle response vehicles, a lot smaller than fire engines, because in most cities where you have a combined EMS and fire department, probably 78% of the calls are EMS, not fire department. So the whole function of fire departments has changed radically over the years. So when I ask the question, how many fire calls do we go out at, how many were for structural fires, how many were for wildland fires, and how many were for emergency services along the freeway and different kinds of important information. I'd like to know those numbers. So then again, it provides good information to people. So thank you, and I appreciate what you guys do. You take a lot of heat, and I want you to know I appreciate your willingness to serve us as citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. And I apologize.